Yeah, so let me talk about Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Make this short. I didn't like it. As much as it had, anticipation as it had, I didn't like it at all. Um, if you want to get into it, it's a plot per plot, plot point to plot point rehash of Force of the New Hope. It's perfectly good for an 11-year old. 11 year old's good enough. The kid I'm a guardian to, he loves it. He thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread, since the originals, and better than the originals. However, he's 11 years old, and anybody who grew up with Star Wars should have expected better. Uh, Frankly, if Disney spent that kind of money, they spent that on a sure thing. They could have done so much more. It's more of a missed opportunity than anything. Uh, I could talk about things that bother me. First, J.J. Abrams. I don't know why this guy's working. He's a hack. You know, they call him a quacker if you were a doctor. He's a hack. Okay? He just picks franchises and ruins them. Star Trek, the same thing as Star Wars. He took the same plot and rehashed it. Okay? He took stuff that was better done and rehashes it. So I can't get behind Star Trek, anything that he does, because it was bad. He ruined Khan, which was such a good villain for that franchise. And I'm a Star Trek fan. That was such a good villain. That series was such a good series. I can't even watch the new Star Trek. Every time I watch it, I'm like, they gotta fix the timeline uh, because Vulcan is dead. So another thing is he's just blowing up planets. He blew up planets in Star Trek, and they're critical planets to the whole Star Trek mythology. Uh, so now he blew up planets in Star Wars, 5 of them. Okay, why is he blowing up planets in Star Wars? Now, I like the fact that they were sitting there and they were experiencing an explosion. You get to see the people dying. It adds a little gravitas, but it's not what you wanted. Say what you want about the prequels. They're original, and no one. They didn't need to blow up a planet. You knew the Jedi Purge was coming, and that was what everybody was going to die for. I walked out of Star Wars Episode 1 um, thinking it was good. It took me a week to admit to myself it was sucked. I walked out of this movie, Force Awakens, thinking George Lucas should have kept it. And that's what I mean. He should have kept it. He should have kept everything. He should never have sold it to Disney. You know what he should have done? He should have done exactly what the James Bond people are doing. They still own it, right? They still own it. They lend it to Sony. Sony can make a bad movie or something, but then again, James Bond family people could take it away and they can go shop it around for somebody else. They could shop it to Warner Brothers. They could shop it to all the other companies out there. So, not a bad deal. But now that Disney has it, they're gonna Disney the shit out of it, and I'm not gonna be able to watch any more Star Wars. I checked out of the Star Wars. About 20 minutes in, I knew that this is a rehash. I checked out of it. Um, Matter of fact, I'll probably be checking out of all Star Wars product for a long time. The only thing I will probably watch is the Clone Wars or the Rebels. Rebels looks pretty good. The same people did the 2 shows. So Star Wars for me probably dies or ends here. I don't know what the new movies are like, but the follow-up movies, 8 and 9, and the in-between movies. Uh, but that's what I'll probably be in for now. Let's talk about how bad this Force Awakens is. It's that bad. The villain, he's a kid, temper tantrums, can't stand for nothing. Again, the other villains were kind of the same thing, and Luke was a kind of a pussy too. Also, all these guys were bad, were a little weak on what they had to do for them, on their motivation. However, I buy George Lucas's villains more than I buy Kylo Ren. I buy Kylo Ren. I don't buy Kylo Ren. I buy General Grievous. He needed more development. I buy Count Dooku as a villain. I buy Darth Maul as a villain. I don't buy Kylo Ren. Okay, so first, in that sense, I'll be very quick. Frankly, George Lucas made better prequels. Okay, he didn't spend the kind of money that they had in production, but he made a better prequel. And I didn't like the prequels. I didn't like Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. I like the Revenge of the Sith, but George Lucas did it better, and that's what this series, this new movie missed. George Lucas's touch. He needed a better director. In fact, that was George Lucas's mistake. Get a real director, and have someone proofread your stuff. All right, people didn't say no to him. That's why the prequels were a little bit weak, but better villains than Kylo Ren. Conveniences, Ex Machinas in this movie are terrible too. An earthquake separates the fight. The girl picks up the Force that quickly, like 5 minutes. She didn't know the Force existed. Then she's a master of the Force at the end of the movie. The earthquake, the split the fight, another convenience. BB-8 was good, liked it. I wouldn't pay $8 to see BB-8 again in the movie theater. I could go on, but just simply put, the Death Star all over again was a problem. To repeat the Death Star at this level of the movie is ridiculous because, simply put, it's not consistent with the whole series. If they blew up the Death Star in 6, how could anybody rebuild an even bigger Death Star to the multiple size of 1720 with what's left of an empire and recalling it the First Order? There's no way that could happen. All right. So why did they do another Death Star? Just for plot convenience, just because it fits. That's what Disney wanted. But to redo a Death Star, it was such a weak attempt for the fans. It was a fan movie. Basically, I'm not even going to bother reciting the plot. It was a $200 million fan film. That's all I really have to say. It's a $200 million fan film. What this does is make me so angry at George Lucas for selling it, because he tried to give us an original story. He did it in 4, 5, and 6, and then he tried in 1, 2, and 3. He tried to do original story, and then all I could do right now is look at The Force Awakens and say, what a missed opportunity everything past 1985 was. All right, the only real success that you could say right now for George Lucas was a marginal a pass for Revenge of the Sith and the fantastic writing of, what's the 2 shows? Clone Wars and Rebels. And Rebels isn't his to call anyways. Because I would rather watch that. I could watch hours and hours of content of that show, of those shows, before I pop in The Force Awakens. I got it right here. It's a bootleg copy. All right, I saw it in the theater once. Didn't want to see it again. I got a bootleg copy. I haven't popped it in. Tells you the story right there. I'll talk about other things that are wrong. Kylo Ren, guy's a crybaby, has a temper tantrum, breaks up the wall, breaks up to this. Don't buy him. Okay. What else can I tell you? What else? The girl. Nothing wrong with the girl. But the stare down at the end with Luke. Luke doesn't show up for the last 10 seconds of the movie. That was weak. The conveniences in the plot. If you're going to repeat episode 4, you're going to have conveniences. But come on. It's just bad. It's just bad. I feel like telling you to save your money. Those of you that are going to buy it on Blu-ray, you're going to buy it on DVD, anybody who really loves Star Wars will check out of this movie right about now. They'll wait for something to happen. Me, personally, I am done with Star Wars until I see something better. Like, the ratings, I can't believe the ratings. I can't believe anything because it's just that bad. Oh, gosh, I don't even know where to go. I didn't write nothing down. I just wanted to rant about it because it was that bad. Yeah, here, I'll post it now. I'm tired.